When you started looking for a new press, what else did you look at besides the Volt?
We looked at the Rock, and we also looked at the Brown because they were both at our show at the time. And of course, having an M&R and doing a little bit of research, M&R obviously was considered, you know, the Cadillac or the workhorse. So we looked at one of those and priced all of them out, and the Rock was really, you know, with all the bells and whistles, that was a little bit out of my price range for what I want to stay. And then the M&R was still a little pricey, but it was one of those things where personally you talk about, you probably couldn't go wrong if you did it. But then talking to the people at Ryonet, trying to get away from some of the air problems we were having, you know, that's what got us thinking a little bit of going electric, especially talking to the Brown guys.
How long did you guys have your Gauntlet?
Probably for about 2 years.
You bought it new or used?
We bought it used.
You bought it used?
Yep.
What year was it?
It was a 90, well, conflicting stories, but we think it was a 96.
Okay. And how many prints do you think over the course of that time do you think you printed on that?
That's hard to tell. We've done not 90, so
Right, hundreds of thousands.
probably because we're doing all those Walgreens. So I would say 200,000-300,000
Okay.
at least.
Well, I wasn't comfortable with his decision. He was ready to go with Sabre.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily like the Brown, but I liked the idea of it being all electric. And because we had a lot of compressor issues, even though we had just bought a brand new compressor. But before that, we had had a lot of compressor issues.
And I need a new chiller, so I was going to
And
buy
we needed a new
anyway.
chiller. So I went on the message boards, and just as a last-ditch effort to make sure we had not ruled out everybody, and someone messaged me back about, have you looked at the Volt? And I was like, I don't even know what the Volt is. So, you know, put me some links to where I could see it, and I think I heard from Anatol within 24 hours, and he looked it up, and it quickly became the top of our list after we looked at it.
Things.
Well, one is noise.
Yes.
It's extremely quiet. The M&R was extremely jerky, so it was.
It was an old machine, so
you know,
it's
it
hard
was
to.
hard to tell. But just the overall quiet was like, wow, you know, it was like night and day.
You couldn't even hear it running.
It just seems so much smoother. So.
Especially compared to our M&R,
Yeah.
It was so old. It was very jerky. We lost registration a lot because of that. And registration on the M&R for us was very difficult.
Yeah.
Very.
Compared to like
it could take 2 hours on a 5-color job.
I mean, what are you running now, you think, typically?
Well, we did the 5-color and did it in 25 minutes.
If
20 minutes
that,
if
you
that.
know.
Okay, good. Now, you know, you bring up the registration issue, and one thing that we've been hearing is that the Volt doesn't hold registration. And that's kind of something that we kind of chuckle at, because it's one of the things that we think it does very well, is holds registration, because it is so smooth. Have you noticed that there's been a difference as far as registration?
I mean, we've had it since November and over 95,000
Prints.
impressions. I've never had a problem with it. Never, I mean,
We've had a couple, you know, where it has moved, but it usually was, we didn't have the tack down right.
Right.
So the shirt's moving,
The
not
shirt's
necessarily
moving.
the screen's moving,
Yeah.
or okay.
Mhm.
well, I would, if you have a chance to go see it, then go see one. We just did a lot of YouTube videos. And
Yeah, you actually bought your sight unseen.
Sight
Bought it
so
sight
unseen, we did.
unseen.
probably a little bit of nerves there when it first
Yeah.
got rolled in.
We
Yeah.
had seen all electric, we had seen the Rock.
The Brown was at the show
Yeah.
too. It was a smaller version of it. But it was, I did a lot of YouTube looking at things. I mean, so that was kind of how I based our decision. I know it's probably not the best way to do it, because I don't think there was anyone around me within driving distance. Otherwise, I probably would have gone sooner.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
everyone that I had spoke to on the boards that had a
Yeah.
Volt or had seen the Volt, loved it.
I didn't hear any negative.
I didn't hear any negatives about all electric. I was hearing a lot of negatives from old school screen printers. You know, we were having such difficult time with our current press that we didn't want old school anymore. We wanted something that was going, hopefully, in the path of what's going to be to come.
Well, like I said, we've had it for 6 or 7 months now, and it's still running like it has since day one.
You had to do it all over again, would you?
Yeah,
We'd
Yeah.
buy another one when we needed it. We would buy another one.
yeah. If I have to add another machine, it'll be another Anatol.
Great.
Yeah.